All right, y'all. I want to play another clip from In My Opinion podcast. Michelle Obama, Craig Robinson, Katt Williams. Like I said, very surprising guest, but I'm here for it. This clip specifically, Katt is talking about growing up Jehovah's Witness, and he also recounts a specific moment where God saved his life by allowing him to adopt like 9 or 10 kids. This was a very interesting clip. I want to play it for you guys.
This situation you were in, not being able to do a lot of stuff, that was because your parents were religious?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They were Jehovah's Witness.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And high up in the organization.
Yeah.
But, a lot of the things that I learned because of that situation.
Mm-hmm.
So I already knew that when I got in a position to be a parent, I understood love is the most important thing, and it's free.
Yeah.
You can do that.
That's right.
And I know all the other stuff seems to matter, but actually the imparting of love and creating an individual that knows how to receive it and give it and deal with it is just so important. And don't get me wrong, my father was a great father. He's a great husband. My parents are still together. They've been together almost 50 years now. So they're wonderful. But
what's your relationship like with them today?
I love them today, same as I always did. I'm more, they got more respect for me for how great of a job that they did, even when the feelings weren't there, you know? And I appreciated that. And that made it so much easier for me to adopt children because I realized, DNA doesn't matter, bloodlines don't matter.
So
Family's where the love is.
Yeah, that was another thing I didn't realize about you, that you have adopted a lot of kids. Tell us.
Yeah, I didn't see that in the bingo cards.
Right.
But my son's mother was living in another state, and she had another life and had kids. And at some point, she faced an addiction crisis, and her children went to the orphanage. So when they called me, I don't have a direct relationship with these children, but they are the siblings of my son. And I did all the research, and I knew that it takes $1 million to raise a child.
Yes,
and
indeed.
I was eager to say, wait a minute, Lord, you're saying I'm going to have $10 million to take care of 10 kids?
Yeah, right.
Fine. Let's do it.
I'm in.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to let me suffer. You're certainly not going to let. And it was best experience ever.
How old were you when you adopted the kids? And what stage in your life? Were you already in comedy? Were you already Katt Williams, or was this?
Yes, ma'am, but a lesser form, a smaller case K. I was making less than $25,000 a year, so that lets you know where I was. But I had been working, and everything was looking good. It was a period in my life where I think that's the only way he could save me, is to give me this instant, humongous family and all of these.
Did you need saving?
I did.
What was going on?
I love women so much.
Tell us more.
And so I had a 5-bedroom house with a woman in each room.
Okay.
Because I like women. I like waking up hearing them. I like them being around. Like, that's my sweet spot.
Well, it sounds like you weren't in crisis.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't that type of crisis. It's just that the kids happening instantly like that meant, no, I got to grow up. I got to do stuff a different way. Like, I got to do a different trajectory. Like, I'm going to be a family man now, you know? So I couldn't be the bachelor superstar that I had envisioned at that point that I was getting ready to go into. So, yeah, it saved me for sure.
I think, and there's a couple of different points that I want to touch on. I'll touch on what he just said most recently. So he said he was eager to answer the call in reference to adopting the mother of, not the mother, but in reference to adopting the children that the mother of his child had apart from him. He said he was eager to answer the call, and he put it on God. He said, I've done the research. It's going to cost $1 million per kid to raise them. You know, I think that data is like through 18 years old. I'm not sure how accurate that is now. It might be a little bit more. But regardless, he said, you know what, God, does this mean that you are going to supply the need in order for me to step into this call that you have placed upon my life? And he was eager to trust God in that moment. He was eager to answer the call and put himself in an uncomfortable situation in order to benefit other people, and ultimately in order to deny himself, in order to deny his flesh, because he said it himself. He said it himself that he needed to be saved. That's what he said himself. He said he had a problem with lust in so many different words. First, a couple different things. $25,000 a year, that's like $2K a month. Now, I understand it's a different time, but a 5-bedroom house, when you're making, $2K a month, that's pretty good. But to have 5 women in each different bedroom, yeah, you really live in that rock star lifestyle. And I could imagine where that would have taken him and how far away from God that would have taken him had he stayed exactly on that course that he was on. But he recognized in himself that this ain't the route that is going to be healthy and sustainable and beneficial for my soul long term. So he was willing to submit to what God had put on the table for his life. And I think that is beautiful. I really do think that is beautiful. Now, he said something very interesting. Wow, that's bright. He said something very interesting in reference to his parents. And the opening question was basically, you had a lot of restrictions. Was that because you grew up Jehovah's Witness? And he said yes. And he said that his parents were actually very high up in the church, or whatever you want to call it. But at the same time, you can recognize that he doesn't agree with certain aspects, or maybe he doesn't agree with all of it in general. But the way that he spoke about his parents, I think it's something that we could definitely learn from. And I actually have a great deal of respect for the way that he spoke about his parents, even in the fact that you can kind of tell that he didn't agree with that lifestyle and certain decisions or choices that were made when he was a child. Now, Ephesians 6:1, it says, "Children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Honor your father and mother. This is the first commandment with a promise, that it may go well with you and that you may live long in the land." That's very, very interesting, because when you look at it in comparison to 2 Timothy chapter 3, where we see godlessness in the last days, verse 1, it says, "But understand this, that in the last days there will come times of difficulty, for people will be lovers of self, lovers of money, proud, arrogant, abusive, disobedient to their parents, ungrateful, unholy, heartless, unappeasable, slanderous, without self-control, brutal, not loving good, treacherous, reckless, swollen with conceit, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God, having the appearance of godliness but denying its power. Avoid such people." Now, this is a very stark comparison when you look at the promise of long life in the land that is given after obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right, you have a very stark comparison to the ungodliness that is shown, that is evident in the disobedience that we have to our parents. And I think that that is an extremely interesting comparison. Now, I'll be honest with you. I look at my life, and I specifically look at my walk with God, and I'm always looking at how I can improve, and I'm always looking at how I can please God more in my life. And I'll just be honest, for me, there are certain things in my life that I struggle with, and then I'm working with God to fix those things. And then as I'm fixing those things and as I'm eliminating those sins from my life, it's almost like I'm checking off a box, and I'm going down the list, and I'm checking out the box, and I'm cleaning house. Spiritually, I'm cleaning house because I want to use this vessel that I have to glorify God completely. Now, I know that I'm not going to be perfect, but I want to do everything that I can to be obedient. And I'm not saying that the works are going to save me. I understand that the works will not save me, but I want to be a better child of God. So I'm checking off the box, right? And one of the boxes that I still have unchecked is exactly what Katt Williams displayed, because I know that I need to be better in honoring my parents, but I struggle to understand exactly what that looks like for me at this time in my life. And that's just me being as transparent as I possibly can. I don't necessarily know what that looks like in my life right now, but it is something that I know is lacking. It is something that I know that I need to improve on. And I know it's something that God would be pleased with me if I continue to try to make steps in the right direction in that area. So hearing how he spoke about his parents and hearing the respect and the reverence that he still has for his parents in the midst of not completely agreeing, or even to the point of very strongly disagreeing with some of the decisions and choices that they made on his behalf when he was a child, I have a lot of respect for that. And I have a lot of admiration for that, because that is something that I'm working towards and striving towards for myself. And I think for all of us, we should be striving toward that same outcome and that same process in our own life. And it's difficult because there's a lot of trauma, there's a lot of emotion, there's a lot of pain, there's a lot of real stuff involved in that dynamic. And sometimes it's hard to forget certain things that were done. And sometimes it's hard to forgive if we're being honest. Some of us don't want to be honest. Some of us want to act like we're perfect Christians and that we are just overflowing with forgiveness in every area and within every relationship of our lives. But for a lot of us, that's simply not true. We need help. We need grace. We need God to show us the way of forgiveness in certain relationships. And that's my prayer for all of y'all. And that's also my personal prayer, because I don't want to fall into a category of ungodliness to where this disobedience, and what is it from a disobedience standpoint? Essentially the opposite of honor, right? Because it's one thing to be obedient to your parents if they are leading you away from Christ, because ultimately that is disobedience to God, right? So there's a difference. But to honor your parents and to show them respect, you're saying, you know what? I'm respecting the position that you have, and I'm going to give you the honor and the due respect that you deserve. And that's a lot harder to do than it is to say. So anyway, I thought that was really awesome what he said. And I want to know what y'all think. Get in my comments, like this video. I'm out, y'all.